Hi guys, Team RC 3D Prints, and something a little bit different to what we normally do. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll know we do a lot of the large scale stuff, but today we have got a brand new XRay XB2. This is the latest 2022 model, only came out at the very end of 2021, and we do actually race these buggies competitively, or we try to be competitive with them anyway. So we're actually going to do a build on this, a build video on this, and show you what this is all about. So here we have the box. Let's see what goodies are inside. So we've already removed the instruction manual so you can see what we've got in the box, but as you can see, nicely machined anodized chassis, and then all the other parts nicely bagged up. Front suspension parts, chassis parts, shock absorbers and so on, so they're all nicely bagged up. And we'll do a few build videos on some of the steps for this. If they're of any interest to anyone, then please do like, share and subscribe. Now, what are the differences between this and the previous buggy? They do bring out a new buggy each year, so X-Ray, they do a 2020 spec, 21, 22, etc. Sometimes there's some big changes, sometimes there's some smaller changes. So from what we can see, these are the only parts that are different to the previous 21 spec model. It has a slightly different front shock tower. I think the holes are mounting are slightly different, but we'll have a little bit more of a look into that. And the rear chassis, the way the rear suspension mounts on is different. So this used to mount direct to the chassis, but now it actually mounts to the underside of the gearbox like that. So it gives you a little bit more, I think it just affects the way you're able to adjust the anti-squat on the car. So that is what we can see the only differences to the 22 spec car. Now this is the carpet spec car. If you're not familiar, they do a dirt spec and a carpet spec. The carpet spec basically just works better on slightly higher grip surfaces. There's subtle differences to it, mainly with the gearbox is slightly different, the rear arms are slightly different, and the front steering is slightly different, but they're the main differences. The basis of the car is exactly the same. So we have built the car up, and here it is, minus all the electrics. Wonderful car to build up, nice and easy to build up, no problems with it whatsoever. All the mouldings are very clean. We only had a slight sticking issue with one of the rear wishbones, but that was very minor and just a small amount of easing on that arm pin there, or on the arm. That sorted that out. So it really is easy to put together this car, as you expect with all the X-Ray products. So the only differences on this 2022 carpet spec model, from what we can see, is the front wishbone, sorry, the front shock mount is different part number to the 21 spec model. I think it just gives some slightly different geometry to the suspension. And the other difference, as we highlighted earlier, is the way the rear arms mount. As you say, they now mount actually into the gearbox, so you've got spaces in there which would actually enable you quite quickly to adjust the anti-squat of the car rather than having to use these washers. Rather than have to use these pill inserts. Obviously you can still use the pill inserts to give you different anti-squat, but I'm assuming we can use that to perhaps fine-tune it, but we'll see. And obviously it does make sure the chassis different. It makes the chassis slightly shorter because you haven't got this bit that removes onto the back of the rear suspension mount. And of course this part is actually different. So there's only really, well, the chassis is different, that's different, two gearbox halves are different, the gearbox top is the same, that is the same, and the front shock tower. So there's the car. We're going to get some electrics on it soon and we will give it a run. Thanks for watching.